Hey man, congratulations. Welcome back to the winning column.
I told you, TJ Watt was the answer to all of our problems.
But what about getting the high draft pick?
We're still going for that.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this episode of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, joined alongside, as always, by my good friend, the finally a winner, the terrible towel twirling Trajan. You look like you got a few feathers in your on your head right there. Is it a little bit of a bird problem at Acrosure?
Yeah, just a little bit. When the pigeons come to play, we win.
Then they ought to have a VIP seat every week when you're at home, right?
Yeah, I mean the odds of pigeons being at the place for victory this year are pretty low. I mean pretty high. Uh, not a lot of victories though. Not a lot of victories. We need those pigeons to show up.
Absolutely. Well, we shall see if they show up more towards the end of the year. But yes, it is true. The rumors you've heard, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won yet again. They got their third victory of the season. Normally, I would go first and gloat about the Chiefs' victory, but Trey just waited a little bit longer to talk about a victory than me, so I will let him have the floor. As you can see by the final score of 20-10, the Steelers are victorious.
All right. So this one I was out in the field hunting on, so I didn't get to watch the game. I had to come back, rewatch it. But rest assured, I was checking my fantasy the whole time, seeing where we were at score-wise there. But I mean, I'm not going to say this was the greatest game that the Steelers ever played. We are back in the win column. And you know what? I kind of like the way we did it. We had over 200 yards rushing. I don't even know when's the last time we had over 200 yards rushing. But no, I mean we were very, a lot more efficient than we were. I'm not going to say very efficient, but a lot more efficient than we were. We went for 9 for 17 on third down, but yeah, no, it's nice to see rushing 217 yards. Najee was just 1 yard away from 100 yards rushing and 1 yard away from me getting another point in my fantasy, but nonetheless, still a good day for him. Um, Kenny Pickett, he did 199 yards passing, 18 for 30, no touchdowns. He did get a touchdown rushing though, and so he actually had some yards picked up there in the rushing game. He was 8 times he ran for it for 51 yards. So uh, overall, team win. TJ was back. He didn't get any sacks. He was there. He drawed the attention and let other guys make the plays. So he'll get better once he gets back into it. But it definitely elevated. You could see when I was watching the review of the game, everyone was kind of more heightened with TJ Watt out on the field.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You can definitely see that from the get go. That T.J. Watt, the stats wise, he may not have been a factor, but you can tell on the game plan for New Orleans, he was a huge
All
factor
right.
that they had to contend with. You know, it's funny. You look at Kenny Pickett's numbers in the passing category. Only 18 out of 30 attempts and 199 yards. That would normally be a scenario where they probably wouldn't have won. But as you
Yeah.
mentioned, the biggest thing was getting their rushing going. And as you mentioned, Najee Harris nearly 100 yards rushing. Kenny Pickett, the second largest leading rusher with 51 yards, including a rushing touchdown that ultimately put them over the top. But you're right. It was a stellar team win with the defense really stepping up when they were called to do so. But then again, let's be honest, whenever that defense sees Andy Dalton on the field, they typically have a good day.
Yeah, they're licking their lips when that happens. But yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. You go and look at it. It's not a spectacular Saints team, and I'm going to take the win. but this is definitely not Steelers going to Super Bowl. This is this is well, hey, we can at least still win a game.
See, it seemed like the only factor of the team win that wasn't quite there would have been Matt Wright, who only completed 2 of his 4 field goals. You made a little joke to me earlier in the week. It's like, hey, we signed one of your players away too, referring to Matt Wright. Was actually pretty clutch for us a couple times when he was signed to the Chiefs for the 2 games that he played. But apparently Matt Wright wasn't feeling too comfortable with the black and yellow. It seems like the red was maybe just a little bit more comforting to him.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah, I do wish Boz is back, but
What's
6 points.
what's the timetable for Boz? He's not out for the season, I don't think.
No, he's not out for the season.
Okay.
I don't know when he's back. I don't know if they've even said it. They might have.
Mm.
To be honest, kicker isn't really what I pay too much attention to there. He's back, he's back.
The Boz, though, come on.
God, I mean, yeah, no. He is good, but it's a kicker. I'm sorry.
I hear you. All righty. Well, I've had you let you have enough fun with your victory. Now it's time to the meat of the matter here too. Let's hear it, Kingdom. How about those Chiefs? You know, it's weird because it's the whole beating up on a child argument. You know, it's like if you lose a fight to a child, you lost a fight to a child. You're not even a man anymore. But if you beat the child, it's like, oh, you beat on a child. So yeah. I have to say that the game plan that Andy Reid had was absolutely phenomenal. He took the strategy of, you know what, I'm going to fight this child with one arm tied behind my back. Here's how. So let's go the 5 things that happened that will represent each finger that was put behind the back there. So first one, opening onside kick. You know, let them have their 2 possessions to start the game and start the second half. There's one. The fumble by Isaiah Pacheco, which was very Kareem Hunt-like, because after that happened, Pacheco just went off after the fact. So there's 2. Mahomes with the interception. There's 3. Jody Fortson is number 4. And number 5, Harrison Butker missing a field goal. So we put one arm tied behind our back, and we still beat them by 10 points.
The refs are on your side, right?
There we go. That's it. We can't give them all the advantages.
Yeah.
On a serious note, though, on to the stats. One of the players that I have to say I was most impressed with today, that I was, a little irked. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, but Kadarius Toney. This was his standout game, I have to say. And there were a few plays there where if you would have changed his 9 to a 0, I don't know if I could have told the difference, honestly. There was some excellent route running, excellent catches made, including one where, I kid you not, I wish I had them right next to me right now. I would do it myself. But he's running the route. He's looking towards Mahomes. The ball is in the air. He sees it coming. And he adjusts his gloves while running, and then goes up and grabs it between 2 defenders and comes down with it for a first down. I'm just... You can't write this. Yeah. It's just crazy. He adjusts the gloves, is like, and jump! And he just mossed both of them. Came down with it. Absolutely incredible. And you could tell the Jaguars' defense wasn't really ready to take him seriously, because the motion play where he was wide open at the bottom of the field, no one was down there, and Mahomes saw him like, oh, okay, well, there you go. And Tony had a little fun with it by doing the whole tiptoe routine down the sideline into the end zone. That was pretty entertaining too. But no, this was a great showing by Kadarius Toney, and I'm so happy to report that Mahomes did not throw more than 40 times in this game. much less 68 times like the previous week. He spread the ball around. Like I said, the fumble by Pacheco, he stepped up and ended up with 82 yards total. No touchdowns rushing. We had 4 touchdowns from 4 different receivers, including Tony. One from Kelsey, one from NVS, and one from Noah Gray. And our well wishes to Juju Smith-Schuster, who is in the concussion protocol after a hit to Cisco, which, say what you want about the refs supporting Kansas City. I have never seen a ref pick up a flag as quick as they did after seeing Juju go fencing position with his arms. That was so scary to see, because it kind of reminded me of the like Antonio Brown hit by Perfect. Honestly, it gave me those vibes for a second, but luckily he didn't have to be carted. He needed the assistance of 2 guys to help get off the field, and he did post on his Instagram all is well, and he will be back. I highly doubt he'll be back this week, and I'm perfectly okay with that. He just take this week off, get everything under control, especially for the latter part of the season when it's playoff push time. So I don't foresee him being on the field against the Chargers, and that's fine. There was a similar instance with MVS, the same defender too. It didn't get the contact the same as Juju, but boy, it looked like he launched himself directly upward towards his head, and I'm just like, man, in college that would be like reviewed or something like that. I mean, once again, we're back to the player safety protocols that are supposed to be in line, but that just
that was questionable, because it seems like on player, when it has to do with player safety, they generally don't pick up that flag unless it was pretty obvious that it wasn't. That's kind of a weird call from the refs there.
It was just crazy how quickly they picked it up, though. Like, there was no discussion. It's just the officials just like, oh, never mind, I changed my mind, like seconds after it happened. So it was still fresh in his mind. He saw what happened in front of him, but I don't understand. As far as the defense is concerned, though, some sacks to go around. Carlos Dunlap getting sack 101 after last week getting his 100th. Leo Chanel, another rookie, undrafted rookie free agent for the Chiefs, got a sack. Willie Gay with 1, and Chris Jones with 2 sacks. Finally starting to play up. Well, I guess he's played a lot better this year, I'd say, than he has last year. I have to see what his sack total is. Maybe I'll look that up later. And Kalen Saunders stepping up big time too. So the defense had plenty to eat this week at the expense of Trevor Lawrence. And it was interesting watching Kadarius Toney be the guy to return punts, which once again kind of gives me that Tyreek Hill vibe behind him too. So I'm excited to see how he continues to grow with the offense. But with that being said, it was expected that the Chiefs would handily take care of business against Jacksonville. They lived up to that expectation, I think. And now it's with every team in the AFC West losing, there's a good chance this week could potentially decide the AFC West championship, which, if the Chiefs win it this year, would tie the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders at 15 AFC West titles apiece. The Chiefs are at 14, and the others are at 15. They get it this year, it's going to be a 4-way tie for the amount of division titles. So a big Sunday night matchup upcoming at SoFi Stadium.
Yep, a big loss for the Chiefs there on SoFi Stadium.
It would be the first time, too. It would be the first time they've lost at SoFi if that happens this week.
Right, it's Chiefs West, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was biting my nails the whole time because I was going up against Mahomes in fantasy. So when you guys got 4 touchdowns very soon, I was worried a little bit, but you guys didn't run away as much as I thought you would, maybe because of those mistakes there, but overall, you can only play the opponents that are on your schedule, and that's a win.
I'd say that last touchdown by Jacksonville was more in garbage time. That's because what was it, 20-0, almost going into halftime, and then there was the mistake by Jody Fortson, and then which was followed up by a missed field goal by Jacksonville. Yeah. I was like, "Ooh, boy, we dodged a bullet there." But yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Jacksonville, they knew what they were up against, and that's why Doug Peterson took a page from his former mentor Andy Reid's book with the opening onside kick. That was very clever. I was angry when it happened, but after the fact, I was like, that was very clever. That was very clever, and it was executed to perfection. You brought up fantasy, and we saw this week the end of one undefeated streak. But ladies and gentlemen, I have great news to report. The real undefeated streak is still intact. That's right. I am 10-0, by golly, even though it was kind of scary this week with A.J. Brown going down and Jalen Hurts throwing a couple interceptions, but I came out victorious. I'm sitting at 10-0, and I'm sitting pretty. And
no, auction drafts aren't good. No, right?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment. Right. What was Bill Belichick's line? We're on to Cincinnati now.
Yeah,
on to Cincinnati. We don't talk about it.
No.
Well, speaking of things going very much in my favor, and I know you were hoping to put this off as long as possible, but I suppose no better time than the present. It is time for locks, upsets, and high rollers. And as you can see by the scoreboard here, ba-bam. It was another good week for me, and a decent week for you. You did get a point.
I did get a point. I was so close to my second point, though.
You were. You were. I couldn't believe my upset came through for me. I just threw Detroit against the wall. It was like I made it as a joke. I said, well, it worked out for me last time. I picked Detroit over Green Bay. Why don't I just pick Detroit again? And son of a gun, what do? They beat Chicago by 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah. And my lock of the week was rather bad.
Oh, man.
It's been no better than to choose locking the Falcons.
Well, to be fair, how they beat Carolina last week should have really broke their spirits, but or not last week, but a couple weeks ago should have broke their spirits. But you know what? It is the Falcons. Never put your faith in the Falcons.
No.
We got to learn that stuff the hard way. But speaking of putting your faith, who do you have your faith in this week as your lock?
All right. So if anyone is still listening on my locks, I am putting the Baltimore Ravens over the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully they don't bite me again for the lock of the week there. Ravens have been playing pretty strong. They're a 6-3 team.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, they're 3-7. I'm not.
And still have a chance. Still have a chance to make the playoffs. They can win their division.
That is the weakest division in football right there.
And who would have thought, right? Well, outside of Tampa Bay, I mean, it would have been pretty easy to think. Tampa Bay really should be like running away with it right now, but
they have no excuse. This reminds me so much of the NFC East. It's not even funny.
And yet the NFC East is like the only division besides
the strongest.
Yeah, besides the AFC East that has a winning record or a 500 record. But alrighty, well, I went a little unconventional this time. Agree? Because I'm going against Green Bay, who had a big win this week over the Dallas Cowboys. I showed Trajan a funny video earlier. It was a Monty Python and the Holy Grail video of the bring out your dead dong, and the guy bringing out the Packers, the guy over his shoulder with the Packers face on it, say, "I'm not dead." Oh, don't be such a baby. You'll be stone dead in a moment. And when's your next pickup? Thursday, which, funny enough, is when they play the Tennessee Titans, and I think it will be time for Green Bay to say goodnight, and Tennessee will take down Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case there, and more than likely, it probably will happen. But moving on to upsets. I really don't want to say this one. but let's go with Dallas over Minnesota.
Whoa, alrighty.
The chains of Kirk
Ah.
Cousins is going down.
You want to talk about the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Here we've got the the Vikings, who've got a pretty high flying offense, versus a Dallas defense that is rock solid, except against Green Bay for the most part. I mean yeah, they, it's it's
Maybe
Mike
that was a trap.
it's Mike McCarthy and against his Packers. He wanted to make sure he helped Green Bay.
Yeah. Still a
um,
Packers fan.
Absolutely. Oh, that'll be a fun game to watch, and yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Dallas pulling that one out. Especially they'll be playing pretty angry after the heartbreaking loss to Green Bay this past week. Well, it seems for some reason whenever I pick upsets, they seem to happen, and I'm gonna use this as a force of good, and I'm gonna say Cleveland over Buffalo. I want to see. I want to see if Buffalo is gonna continue the downward spiral that they seem to be on right now. I mean, truth be told, how many times is Josh Allen gonna make that many mistakes in one game? I mean, two interceptions in the end zone and a fumble on your goal line on a quarterback sneak. I mean,
Oh,
that's just unheard of. That's just unheard of. You don't even see Josh Rosen making those kind of mistakes that often.
my goodness.
But yeah, just for fun and because I think since I've got such a commanding lead, why not? Let's throw it against the wall and see what happens. Cleveland over Buffalo. I'm sticking with it. That's my upset.
Well, couldn't you have used some of your good luck on the upsets to pick the Steelers over the Bengals?
I can't give you that satisfaction.
Okay. All right. With the high rollers, I am sticking with that game. I'm going Buffalo Cleveland. I think that's going to be a pretty high scoring game. Buffalo, of course, we know they can score.
Mhm.
Cleveland, they've been putting up some points in their games too. So why not? I'm
If
always wrong. So let's be wrong on this one.
if they do, I hope it's mostly because of Nick Chubb. That would help me out quite immensely. I would really appreciate that. All right, well, this is going to be an interesting one because I could see this game either ending 6-3 or it could be 45-41 for all we know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting, but it's going to be funny, especially if the Jets win. I'm going Jets Patriots for my high roller.
Uh, Bill Belichick does not lose to the Jets. Even though he's the underdog in this one, which he beat him last time.
Yeah.
That that could be it could happen.
So let's see. Would this one be at
This one's at New England.
This one is at New England. Okay, so man, that's gonna be a tough. But I could definitely see this game going either way. It's gonna be either 6-3 or it's gonna be 45-41. I might be wrong. Let's be fair. Neither of us have nailed a high roller this all this week, and it's always.
hard.
But here's the deal. It's always the game you wouldn't expect. And I
Yep.
don't expect it from this game, so that's why I'm trying to throw that against the wall and see if that sticks. So, you brought it up earlier. What do the Steelers have on the menu this week? They are back at home, if I'm not mistaken.
So, in the words of Bill Belichick, on to Cincinnati. We've been flexed because some thief thought they were more important for Sunday Night Football. Not naming any names. But yeah, no, 4 o'clock game or 3 o'clock game is what we'll be playing.
4 o'clock their
How
time.
about you, good sir?
Well, I'm I gotta stretch these guns out here really quick too, because yes, the team that was flexed to Sunday Night Football was the Chiefs versus the Chargers, and hey, if this game was anything like last year's Sunday night game, then ooh boy. Oh no, what even no, I apologize. That wasn't even a Sunday night game. That was a Thursday night game at SoFi. I remember now because it was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call, so it was Thursday night football. But the case still remains. If you flex the Chiefs and the Chargers to prime time, you're going to get a pretty good game. So I don't expect anything less. Chiefs have not, that's me knocking on wood, lost to the Chargers at SoFi Stadium as of yet. since the stadium has been built, and look forward to continuing that streak. And as I mentioned earlier, a victory over the Chargers this week could all but solidify them as the AFC West champions. And like I said, if a few other key teams lose, then give us a little bit of breathing room for a potential 1 seed. And we all know how important that'll be come playoff time. So definitely a lot to watch this coming week, not just in that game, but in all of the games.
Yeah, no, I really hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to see your smug face.
You don't want me to get another one of these for my collection? you
Not the Super Bowl champions. You're not going to get the Super Bowl.
I
could
mean,
go as far as that as $200 on it.
oh, go on.
I might get killed again.
You got two this time instead of one. So yeah.
Yeah.
might make things a little tougher with explaining to the wife. I get that. So, alrighty. Well, that is our show this week. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all of your friends, and we will see you all in the next episode.